Once a free Thracian, he was now reduced to a Roman prisoner, stripped of his name, left only with a humiliating title, Spartacus. In this hell on earth known as the gladiator training school, life was as cheap as straw. Their sole purpose was to slaughter one another for the amusement of the nobles in the stands. Oenomaus, the trainer, a man as cold and unyielding as an iron tower, saw through Spartacus's crude, battlefield-forged fighting style at a glance. Spartacus's ingrained arrogance made him dismissive, but Oenomaus' rebuttal left him speechless. Here, past identities meant nothing. They were no longer men. They were gladiators, machines forged for honor and bloodshed. To survive, they had to learn, train, and bleed, until one day their name became legend, like Crixus, the champion of Capua, the god of the arena. Yet Crixus's legend wasn't born in the grand spectacle of the amphitheater, but in this dusty training yard, under the merciless lash of Oenomaus. Brutal drills repeated day after day. Every sparring match was a matter of life and death. Sweat and blood mingled. There was no room for the weak. Soon, momentous news arrived. The festival of Vulcan was approaching. Batiatus, the lanista who owned the Ludus, would select 20 gladiators to compete in this bloody spectacle. The main event would be a duel between the two strongest warriors. Undoubtedly, one of them would be the undefeated Crixus. As for his opponent, it hardly mattered. Challenging the champion of Capua was tantamount to walking straight to one's death. Meanwhile, Batiatus was troubled by another matter. He had personally financed the games, hoping to curry favor with the magistrate, only to be rebuffed. The magistrate claimed urgent business prevented him from attending the pre-festival banquet. That urgent business, however, was merely a dinner with Batiatus's bitter rival, Salonius.
And this will be one of them. You'll delight and astound, securing business for the year to come.
This infuriated Batiatus, but his beautiful wife, Lucretia, had other plans. She reminded him and proposed a bold scheme. Use the banquet to seduce Ilithyia, the wife of General Glauber, and make her their new patroness. Ilithyia was famously obsessed with gladiatorial combat and muscular fighters. This was their perfect opportunity. Elsewhere, the gladiators gathered around the table, discussing their idols and legends. Someone mentioned the mythical Barca. It was said that the Romans once forced hundreds of Carthaginian prisoners to fight each other to the death. After half a day of carnage, only 2 remained: the young Barca and his seasoned commander, Mago. In the end, the younger, stronger Barca emerged victorious, earning the title the Lion of Carthage. Even more shocking was the rumor that Mago, whom he killed, was actually his own father. Spartacus listened to these tales of fame and glory with indifference. His only obsession was finding his captured wife, Sura. Anxiously, he asked Batiatus about her whereabouts. Batiatus told him Sura had been sold to a Syrian merchant and was now drifting on a river. But when Spartacus pressed for specifics, he was met with cruel mockery and a warning. Batiatus made it clear Sura's freedom depended entirely on Spartacus's ability to win battles in the arena and earn enough money for him. Meanwhile, Lucretia fretted over jewelry for the banquet. She scorned the merchant's offerings as too ordinary, until he produced a necklace of flawless emeralds. To ensure Ilithyia noticed her, Lucretia fiercely haggled and ultimately bought it. Back at the training grounds, Spartacus remained distracted. His lack of focus angered Oenomaus once again.
Spartacus, do you dream of the mines?
My focus is on blood and battle, Doctore.
Yet your training proves you worthy of neither.
I am a Thracian. It is in my blood.
Spartacus insisted he was a Thracian born for battle, but this only drew scorn from Crixus. Tension between the two simmered, threatening to erupt. Oenomaus reiterated, here, their only faith was the sand beneath their feet. After training, Crixus was summoned by Lucretia. On his way, he encountered Naevia, Lucretia's personal handmaiden. He tried to flirt with her, but Naevia coldly replied that she disliked gladiatorial combat. Crixus was baffled. How could a slave in a gladiator school dislike blood sport? Their exchange ended sourly. In truth, Crixus and Lucretia shared a secret affair. Lucretia showed him her new emerald necklace, but Crixus's mind was fixed only on her body. Back at the yard, Oenomaus taught the newcomers a vital survival rule: how to surrender.
2 fingers. A sign of surrender.
The oath I swore to this place did not include begging.
Spartacus openly defied the order, declaring that begging had no place in his oath. His defiance enraged Oenomaus. Vero, another gladiator, tried to defuse the situation but got dragged into punishment alongside Spartacus. Both were thrown into a foul, sewage-filled pit. Vero complained that Spartacus's recklessness had ruined him too. Only then did Spartacus reveal the truth. He was desperate to win because his wife's freedom hinged on his victories. Hearing this, Vero empathized. He had become a gladiator to pay off debts and reunite with his own wife. In that stinking pit, 2 men fighting for love forged a deep bond. The official lineup for the Vulcan Festival was finally announced. As expected, Crixus headlined the main event. His opponent was Gnaeus, known for his diligence and technique. To Spartacus and Varro's shock, they had been assigned to fight each other in the opening match. The lowest tier bout, reserved for the most expendable fighters, with pitiful winnings that wouldn't help either of them achieve their dreams. Spartacus was furious. He had defeated Crixus in training, yet he was being relegated to the bottom rung. A humiliation. The scheming Asher stirred the pot further, reminding everyone of Crixus's legendary feat. He had once single-handedly slaughtered the fearsome Gargan brothers, known as the Sons of the Jackal. The tale sounded absurd, but the awed expressions around him only fueled Spartacus's burning resentment. Tension mounted in the training yard. Spartacus mocked Gnaeus, calling him a woman for using a net.
Your net's aim is remarkably true, Gnaeus. Battling that little wooden man like a young, wet girl.
Enraged, Gnaeus lost control during drills, charging like a mad ram into a wooden post, and suffered a serious head injury. Just like that, the main event's challenger was out. Spartacus sensed an opportunity. Varro saw his intent and warned him not to be reckless. Challenging Crixus was suicide, but Spartacus had no choice. Sura couldn't wait years. The banquet began. Batiatus proudly displayed his starfighter, Crixus, encouraging guests to place bets. Meanwhile, Lucretia greeted her target, Ilithia. Ilithia complained about the weather and her husband's neglect. Lucretia seized the moment and put on her emerald necklace, but Ilithia casually dismissed it. That style was already outdated in her circles. Lucretia's carefully planned impression turned into a joke. The evening's highlight was the gladiator exhibition. Guests fondled and appraised the fighters like livestock. Oenomaus suggested to Batiatus that Spartacus replace the injured Gnaeus. Batiatus refused, deeming Spartacus unready. Bored by the routine display, Ilithia prepared to leave. To keep her entertained, Lucretia decided to give her something exciting. She ordered Varro to publicly couple with a female slave. Ilithia watched with delight, as if observing rutting beasts. Humiliated, Varro obeyed. Ilithia even demanded an encore. Witnessing his friend's degradation, Spartacus's eyes blazed with murderous intent. Just then, Batiatus stepped onto the platform to announce the final main event pairing. He proclaimed that Crixus, champion of Capua, would face... Before he could finish, Spartacus lunged at Crixus.
Enough!
They brawled violently in front of the entire audience. Chaos erupted. Crixus roared that he would rip out Spartacus's heart. Spartacus retorted without flinching. Seeing the crowd's frenzy, Batiatus seized the moment and declared their feud would be settled in the arena tomorrow. The unstoppable Crixus versus the defiant Spartacus. The ultimate showdown ignited the crowd's bloodlust. Later, Lucretia confronted her husband over his reckless decision. Batiatus explained he saw enormous commercial potential in Spartacus. He was merely a disposable commodity, no real threat to Crixus. That night, Crixus encountered Naevia again in the corridor. He apologized for his earlier rudeness and offered her a hidden necklace as a token of sincerity. Touched, Naevia accepted the gift. In the cell, Varro visited Spartacus, unsure whether to congratulate him or mourn his fate. Spartacus remained defiant, convinced Crixus was overrated. They spoke of a truly terrifying figure, Shadow of Death Theocles. Legend said he stood 10 feet tall, blotting out the sun. Merely gazing upon him was enough to kill a man. And the only person who ever faced him and lived was among them right now, their trainer, Oenomaus. The day of reckoning arrived. The crowd roared, thirsty for blood. Spartacus no longer believed in gods. He trusted only the sword in his hand. He fought for Sura. In the stands, Batiatus flattered the magistrate. At the sound of the horn, the battle began. Spartacus, the Thracian who once defeated 4 men at once, entered first.
Enter Thrakes! The old Spartacus!
Then, amid thunderous cheers, the champion of Capua, Crixus, made his grand entrance. Before the formalities ended, Spartacus attacked. The fight exploded into chaos. But rage could not bridge the chasm of skill. Crixus, The seasoned champion was flawless, offense and defense perfectly balanced. Spartacus was quickly overwhelmed, knocked down again and again. Each desperate struggle seemed futile. Blood soaked the sand, and his unyielding eyes. Finally, Crixus's blade pressed against his throat. The crowd chanted, "Kill him!" In that final moment, Spartacus thought of Sura. For her sake, for their promise, he swallowed his pride and raised 2 fingers in surrender. Batiatus spared his life.
Let him live to fight another day.
The crowd was disappointed, but Batiatus couldn't afford to lose his investment before seeing returns.
A sour bite to end the meal.
Apologies. Yet Spartacus was of some cost to me.
Back in the dungeon, Spartacus admitted plainly. Crixus was truly superior. He found no opening. Oenomaus replied coldly.
At least 10 points, where you could have seized advantage. You needed more training.
When Spartacus vowed to train harder, Oenomaus left him with a cryptic warning.
It is too late for such things.
This defeat may not be an end, but a descent into something far darker.